So it's winter break after my first semester of college, and I developed this weird sort of obsession, let's call it, with playing the acoustic guitar. I mean, I'm playing all the time, and my friends and family are kind of just scratching their heads. They're like, what the heck is going on? You've never shown this love for music or the guitar before. And luckily, once I got back to campus that next semester, I had a couple guys on my hall who were able to mentor me and show me a little bit about basic strumming patterns and basic chord structures, just kind of show me the ropes. And one of those guys who was really helping me, his name happened to be Alex, right? Alex was one of these weird guys where like pretty much everything he ever tried in his life, he was just naturally good at, right? He was just like classically trained pianist. He had like a lot of great natural ear talent on the guitar, and he could sing like an angel. And so we got along and we just bonded over like our love for music and our love for like guitars. And so we decided one day we were gonna take it to the next level and actually become roommates, because we were like, we both have this cool guitar collection. We can both borrow each other's and just chill and jam and hang out and have a great time. And that's what actually ended up happening. We were roommates, we would jam all the time. It was great. We just had one very tiny, small disagreement. You see, Alex liked to go to bed at 9, and I like to go to bed at 3 in the morning after watching like a couple hours of Avatar: The Last Airbender and pretending that I could play Neon. So how did I settle this? Well, that's fairly easy. What I would do is I would take his guitar, I would go down to our college's laundry room, yes, you heard that correctly, and just play in there until 3 a.m. because no one could really hear me. And the reason I would take his guitar down there was because his acoustic was a lot nicer than mine, and he said I could borrow it. So I took advantage of that. It was a Taylor 214 CE. And that was kind of the guitar that I cut my chops on acoustically. I mean, I learned a lot of the riffs that I love to play right now and a lot of the styles that I love to play right now on that guitar. So a couple years later, when I was in the market for a new acoustic guitar, I knew exactly what I would want. I wanted two things. I wanted to emulate that Taylor sound, and number two, I wanted an all solid wood guitar. And I knew with what I wanted to pay at the time, I would probably have to sacrifice, but I found on the internet in a very small part of Maryland, a guy selling a Taylor 214, which was from 2004, and from the research that I had done, the Taylor 214s from 2004 had actually been all solid wood. So I was like excited, I was ready to go. I got this acoustic guitar. I was like, I can finally get that Taylor sound again. I can recreate what had happened in that small college laundry room. But that's where the interesting part happens, because less than a year later, for random weird circumstances, I decided to sell that guitar. And over the next couple years, I went through probably 4 or 5 different electric guitars, just trading and selling and not necessarily being satisfied, trying this one over here, trying that one over there, every kind of major acoustic company you can think of. But I had always sort of come back to that Taylor sound and what had made it so special for me in thinking about the guitar that I learned those riffs on. So I decided, what would it be like to try and capture that sound again? Well, first of all, I would need to get my hands on a Taylor. And that, friends, is where this gets very interesting. You see, friends, this is a Taylor 314 CEV. And this is a very special guitar because it meets those two parameters I was talking about earlier. It's a Taylor and it has that all solid wood construction with the cutaway. The V is actually about the bracing on this guitar, which they say allows it to have a lot of sustain while still keeping up the volume level. But it's one of those things where I know you're not here to hear me talk about the specs, but you want to hear like, what is that legendary Taylor sound? So let's see it. So I'm actually kind of nervous. I don't think you guys have heard me talk about acoustic guitars on here before. So I'm like, let's see how this goes. I'm gonna be miking it up with a Lewitt 640 about a foot away, maybe a little bit more. Just trying to capture some of that high end with a condenser. We'll see how it goes. Let's see if we can get the sound. I'm also nervous because I don't think I've ever finger picked on here before, and you know, I play with a pick. I'm a guitar player who plays with a pick, so I'm like, what are they gonna see? See, I'm the type of guy who likes like big, double-tracked, early 2000s acoustic, just very wide, big strum stuff. Also, tell me who your favorite artist is who plays a Taylor, because I'm just kind of curious about that stuff. So the other thing that I think is particularly interesting when it comes to this guitar and just Taylor's in general is the actual cutaway, which is something that like a lot of my favorite guitarists like Eric Clapton and like other guys who play acoustic, I find them using OM models, but I don't know. I like to play the high notes. Like I know a lot of people like to, I guess just like the OM body shape and like the sound, but I like to have the reach there, and I guess it just depends on what you like. All right, to really get the full scope of what this thing can do and what that Taylor sound is, we have to go to a little game I like to call Acoustic Madness. So here's the deal, I'm trying to just quantify everything when it comes specifically to this guitar. And I feel like when it comes to the acoustic guitar world in general, when I think of like high quality acoustic guitars, I feel like nowadays you can get most things for like $1,000, all solid wood, and it'll sound great. But that's not what I talk about when I think about like the Taylor sound. When I think about the Taylor sound, I specifically think about one word, and that's character. It's the brightness, it's the resonance. When I hear a Taylor, when I hear one of those Goo Goo Dolls records, when I hear like Ben Rector, one of my favorite players, play this guitar, it's instantly recognizable. And I feel like there are only 4 or 5 acoustic brands that I can think of that really have gotten that defined unique sound for their brand. And especially when it comes to a guitar like this, the 314, once you start getting into like the all solid wood range, that's when Taylor guitars start becoming really special. And in getting this guitar, I didn't just want to focus on like getting a quality sound like I said, but really embracing what the guitar is and what it's good at and what it's known for. But definitely going along with like the character that I was talking about before, acoustics are a very delicate instrument when it comes to crafting a particular sound, even more so than electric, where I feel like you have all your pedals and whatnot. You want a reverb to get this tone, you want a distortion to get that tone. It goes down to like those small intricate details, like what kind of pick you're using, like mic distance, mic placement, and all of that certainly counts with electric, but it's cool to see like the interesting ways and the different tones that I could get with that guitar and just with all of my acoustics in general. But the Taylor sound, the resonance and the high end, it was cool to be able to try and capture that, especially with some of those little details. But let me know in the comments, what is your go-to acoustic guitar and what is like your dream Taylor? Like what's the one where you're like, I want to strum that thing, I want to own that thing one day? Because being able to pick up one of these bad boys has been like, this feels very different to me, especially from a lot of the OM models that I've been playing before, but just holding it and actually getting to hear the sound, especially with some of that Acoustic Madness stuff, it's like, anyway, thank you so much for watching. It was cool to be able to like do something a little bit different today, see some acoustics, use words like tone woods, and really try and see how loud an acoustic guitar can get resonance wise in this room. Let me know in the comments whether there are acoustics you'd like me to review. And if you like this guitar, want to know anything more about it, I got it from Sweetwater. You can check out the links in the description. It's one of the best ways to support the channel if that's something you want to do, or if you're just curious about this guitar or any of the other gear that I used in this video, make sure to check out those links. Like and subscribe if you had a good time, and most importantly of all, have a fantastic day.